give us a little background about yourself. How did you come to teach at Poly?
Okay, well, my undergraduate was at ASU, electrical engineering. Right around the junior year of that program, I kind of realized that I sort of liked explaining things to people and thought maybe I might like to be a teacher. When I graduated, not a lot of jobs in engineering, opportunity to become a teacher. So I went to Mount St. Mary's College to get a lifetime teaching credential, California State teaching credential, started teaching at LA City Schools. A lot of, as a sub and a long-term sub. A lot of really nice kids, but a lot of kids who didn't want to be there. And it was, you had 40 kids per class, 5, 6 classes. It was not fun. So anyway, I decided I was going to try to get myself into a position where I could teach older kids. And so I went off and got a master's degree in physics, and then decided I was going to try to get a PhD in philosophy, and needed some courses to do that, which were going to be night courses. So I called some private schools to see if I could get something to do during the day. Happened to get Mike Babcock after hours, and I went in and interviewed, and fortunately they took me.
How would you describe yourself as a teacher?
Okay. Well, let's see. Physics teachers are sort of known for being kind of wild and crazy. And part of the reason that is we get to play around with toys, we get to build cool demonstrations and create cool labs. So that's appealing to me. That's something that I enjoy doing. You want to keep the kids involved because a lot of the material is really difficult. So if you can inject humor into the whole thing is nice. If you can inject bizarre stuff. For instance, I dress up as a wabbit to be able to explain to the students that projectile motion is really this kind of motion and this kind of motion, two completely independent bits of motion that just happen to be happening at the same time. As a consequence, you get that. So I'm sitting up on the demonstration table with ears on and a tail and holding a carrot, and I'm explaining all this in this kind of a wabbit kind of voice, and then I pop to demonstrating like that. So anyway, doing stuff like that, it's just fun to do. The kids get a kick out of it. I like to tell stories.
Tell us about the history of your illustrated lab covers. How did the project start and evolve? Explain a couple that are most memorable.
Okay, so the first year I was at Poly, I didn't really know what I was getting into because I didn't know much about private schools. But I ended up giving the kids a lot of work. And the labs were pretty extensive, and the lab write-ups were pretty extensive. And so what I noticed when I would start getting these labs, these 4, 5, 6 page long labs that they were doing literally every week, I noticed that some of the students were doing artwork on the covers. And the first year I just kind of looked at it and marveled. And then the second year I realized that I was passing up this great opportunity. So I would take the lab covers off the labs and then put them up on a bulletin board somewhere where the other kids could see it. The labs were everything imaginable. For a collision lab, I had a kid take an egg and put it into a little bag and smash the egg and then glue it onto the lab cover, and that was the collision, their lab, I had kids who did like plays on words. So if it was the conservation of energy, they would call it the conversation of energy, and they'd have 2 stick figures, and one would be saying E equals mc squared, and the other one would be saying Ke is a half mv squared, or whatever. I had kids who got together and did like panoramas. So if I put them upright, it would be like this panorama. Each one would meld into the other. I had kids who did like little competitions. One kid took on the persona of Binky, and the other took on the persona of, who was the other one? Coco and Binky. Binky would do some horrible thing to Coco on the lab cover that was related to the lab. The other would do something to the other, and then I would put the 2 up next to one, and the kids could kind of vote as to what was, whatever. Anyway, the long and the short of it is that the lab covers over the years have been very, very fun. The kids get no credit for doing it. They just do it because they want to. I've had wonderful artists. I've had people who've done renderings of me I've had people who've done renderings of themselves. It's just a fun thing that we do, and that's it, pretty much.
You have 94 educational physics videos on YouTube. Tell us about the history of this project. Which are your favorites and why?
Okay, so at one point in time, I decided to try to do a flipped class situation. And with a flipped class, what you do in class is the kind of thing you would normally have kids do for homework, which is to say they do like problems and stuff. And there you are to help if they're having problems. What they do for homework is they look at videos that like lay out the theory or show them example problems or whatever. And so to do that, I had to make a whole bunch of videos, which I did. As I was doing it, I always did it at the same place in my house, which has a backdrop of a whole bunch of books. I've got several thousand books in my house. And I did the first one, and then when I did the second one, I basically said to the camera, well, here we are again, same shirt, same hat, same backdrop. Today we're going to talk about whatever.
Oh, no, wait, hold on here a second. There we go. So, greetings folks. Well, here we are again. Same shirt, same hat, same books behind me.
Then it dawned on me that it would be fun for the kids to occasionally see somebody who was pretending like they were me. So I invited Jose, for instance, and he came in, and he already had a mustache, so I had a fake mustache, but he didn't need it. I gave him glasses, the hat, I put the shirt on that I always wear, the blue shirt. He was sitting, in the chair, and he began by saying,
"Good evening, folks. It's the man. First name Craig, last name Fletcher. Same shirt, same hat, same spiffy mustache, and same books behind me."
So Mr. Crater did one.
Hello, young people. Take a second. Appreciate the tan. Just got back from Cancun. Notice I still got the same shirt, same hat, same books behind me. Today we're going to talk about rigid body problems. Rigid body problems. Do you understand?
And then I had a bunch of people who are not here anymore. Alice Cotty, who was the college counselor. And so anyway, that was it. It was just kind of a fun thing to do. It was sort of off the wall. The kids got a kick out of it. The problems that I did that were difficult were really fun to put together, because the way I did it was I created a PowerPoint, and then I created a whole bunch of copies of a PowerPoint, and I took all of the pieces out, and then I took fewer pieces out, and then like so. And so what I was able to do was to make sort of like a, what do they call it? Like a flip animation. Thank you very much. Yes. And so it was a lot of fun to do. I mean, it was fun to think my way through what's the information that I want to end up with. How do I create the PowerPoint that does that? And then what do I take out to create the pieces that have to go into the animation? And it was just a whole lot of fun to do. Anyway, my favorite, probably the most off the wall that I did probably was, there is a clip in a Woody Allen movie in which he is talking about how outrageous that there are people out there who measure time in meters, which is this thing in relativity. So in the cosmology, astronomy, and relativity class, I actually got permission from Woody Allen to use that clip, and I incorporated it into the video, which then proceeded to talk about why you might want to call, identify time in terms of meters. So that was very fun and kind of exotic, and so I guess I would have to say that was my favorite.
Thank you, Mr. Fletcher, for sharing your passion and creativity with us today.